chapter of Bleach, Uketake continues to use the Kamekake to stabilize the entire Soul Society, Earth, Hueco Mundo, and the entire Bleach universe. Not only that, but Shunsui has a fateful encounter with none other than Sosuke Aizen, the first words we've heard from him in quite some time. This week's chapter was pretty interesting. Not too much happened, pretty much just more destruction of Soul Society and getting to see what the Kamekake is doing, which honestly looks really disturbing the way it's constantly erupting from Uketake's body, which is looking even more malnourished than usual, and basically he's just there to sort of stabilize it. And you can even see that this big, massive black ethereal hand is actually reaching into the Soul King's dimension and actually grabbing onto the Soul King himself, and in some ways trying to bring him back together. This completely confounds the Quincy leader, who is very pissed by these turns of events, because these are things that he could not see with his special eyes. But the rest of the chapter is just Urahara and his group trying to figure out how the hell they're going to stop this whole universe-ending situation. Luckily, Captain Koratsuchi arrives and even has this Reiatsu amplifier, which, just like the police in a horror movie, he decided to show that off at the last second. But the most interesting thing about this week's chapter is Shunsui talking to Aizen, and they don't even really say anything. He's just trying to get a little bit of information out of him, trying to see if they can actually get Aizen to help them out, and he has these locks all over his body, and Shunsui says that he's only allowed to use 3 of them, and the first one he's going to use is going to be on his mouth. However, Aizen is actually able to remove even more than this, and even has one of his classical smug smiles at the end of this week's chapter. Is this all in Aizen's plan? Is this something that he's been planning the entire time? Is really the Arrancar arc really not over yet? Is this something that he's been planning for over 2 years? It's kind of insane, and I don't imagine that's the way it was going. I really just think he's going to be sort of using all of these world-ending events to his advantage, and Aizen himself could actually be a wild card in all of this. I just can't imagine the dude actually wanting to help out anybody from Soul Society, considering all the things that he went through, and I just really can't wait to see how he is going to actually interact with the Quincy leader himself. I mean, that's 2 incredible forces coming together, and I just can't imagine what's going to happen if he's going to actually try and fight him, team up with him, destroy him. There's so many elements to this final arc, and they can just go anywhere with it. It's insane. So, what's the rundown? On this week's chapter of Bleach, another pretty decent setup chapter that had some really good artwork going for it. In particular, the scenes with Aizen at the very end of this week's chapter. I really love the color page at the beginning, where you see him all wrapped up in the black bandages and the weird, like, binding red boards on his back and everything. It looks really awesome, and there's just such an astounding build-up to that final panel where Shunsui is actually talking to him. But the other part of this chapter is just Uketake, and like I said, he looks so messed up, just all skeletal, hanging back as the arm is exploding out of his mouth and erupting into the sky. It looks really creepy, and it's accompanied by some pretty decent artwork in this week's chapter. A lot of fan-favorite characters also appear this week, mostly just for exposition's sake, but honestly, it's just good to see them, and hopefully they'll get involved in the action sometime soon, because there's a lot of elements to this arc that they still are not picking up on. I know that they're going to bring in the Fullbringers eventually. They were teased, I think a little over 100 chapters ago. Not to mention, I'd still love to see what happened in that one deal with Urahara being saved by that dude with a mysterious sword. Everybody still thinks it's Grimmjow. Frankly, I'd love it to be. I just want to see that character again. There's still so many possibilities for this arc, and it really seems like they're trying to set up like the big finale of it. Like they're getting ready to set up like the big end game so that everybody's going to have their final battle, and then we get to go down to Ichigo going up against the Quincy leader, and then there's still Ishida Uryu. Yeah, there's still that guy too. I cannot wait to see. There's just so many characters in this arc, and since this is the final one, really the possibilities are endless. But this week's chapter, I still think, was a pretty decent setup chapter that had fantastic artwork. Uketake's awesome, Shunsui's awesome. They're basically the yin and yang to each other, and they complement each other very well. And then there's just Aizen. Aizen at the very end, love him or hate him, he's coming back, and I cannot wait to see what this crazy guy is going to do. So I thought this was a pretty nice setup chapter of Bleach, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. That's right, my friends, a really solid chapter of the series that you should definitely check out if you're a big fan of the Bleach manga series, or you used to follow the anime version. Check this one out, get excited, pretty good stuff. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and like the video. And before you guys leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's chapter of Bleach. Where do you think they're going with this whole Aizen story? Please tell me in the comment section below. And make sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media like Facebook and on Twitter. And make sure to also check out our brand new podcast series, The Powerful Nerdcast. It's a really awesome video podcast. Check out the newest episode in the description box below. Thank you guys for watching. Super Kami Guru 9000 out.